Innate lymphoid cells, particularly group 3 ILCs, ILC3S, are like the special ops unit of your gut's immune system, quick to respond, deeply embedded in mucosal tissues, and crucial for maintaining peace at the intestinal border. Unlike T cells, ILC3S don't need prior training, antigen exposure, to act. They're pre-armed with cytokines and ready to jump into action when the gut ecosystem is disturbed. Under healthy conditions, they help regulate gut microbiota, promote epithelial barrier integrity, and produce critical cytokines like IL-22, an essential molecule for antimicrobial defense, epithelial regeneration, and keeping your gut lining tight and inflammation-free. ILC3S are highly responsive to their environment, and one of the things they pay close attention to, unfortunately for us, is fat. Under normal metabolic balance, they patrol the gut lining, sense microbial shifts, and maintain a delicate immunological détente, neither overreacting to harmless commensals nor underreacting to invaders. But when dietary fat suddenly spikes, say, after a weekend-long fast food binge, ILC3S don't just passively observe. They adapt, and not always in ways that benefit long-term health. Recent studies reveal that ILC3S, much like adipocytes and hepatocytes, can begin to take up and store lipids when exposed to excess dietary fat. On one level, this makes sense. They reside in fatty tissue niches and respond to metabolic cues. But the more lipid they accumulate, the more their behavior shifts, from immunologically protective to immunologically problematic. Lipid-loaded ILC3S show dampen production of IL-22, the very cytokine that supports epithelial defenses. As their lipid content rises, their core function begins to change. Instead of maintaining the front lines of a gut barrier, they become sluggish, less responsive to microbial threats, and in some cases, even pro-inflammatory. It's as if the immune guardians were handed a bag of donuts and promptly fell asleep at their post. The net effect: impaired gut integrity, greater microbial translocation, and an increased likelihood of chronic inflammation taking root. Compounding this, fat-induced metabolic reprogramming can tilt ILC3S toward a more dysfunctional phenotype. When overloaded with lipids, they experience endoplasmic reticulum stress and mitochondrial dysfunction, two well-known precursors to immune cell burnout. Imagine your immune system's most reliable border guard suddenly too bloated and overheated to stop anyone sneaking past. This metabolic stress not only reduces IL-22 but may increase oxidative stress and allow pro-inflammatory signals to dominate. In the longer term, this disruption can contribute to the progression of metabolic syndrome, obesity, and inflammatory bowel disease as the gut immune system becomes less capable of distinguishing friend from foe. ILC3 dysfunction also weakens the crosstalk between the immune system and gut microbiota, creating a vicious cycle of dysbiosis and inflammation. It's worth noting that not all fats have this effect. Omega-3 fatty acids and monounsaturated fats seem to preserve ILC3 function and may even enhance IL-22 production. The problem lies predominantly with saturated fats and diets low in fiber, which deprive ILC3S of butyrate and other short-chain fatty acids that normally support their anti-inflammatory, barrier-repairing duties. So, here's your friendly biological horror story. Imagine your gut's elite immune defenders turning into hoarders who've gorged themselves into functional retirement, too inflamed and exhausted to defend your intestinal walls. If your diet consists of more processed fats than plants, you're not just feeding your waistline, you're bribing your ILC3S into silence. You might not feel it after one meal, but over time, the result is a gut more vulnerable to infection, inflammation, and chronic disease. Consider this a warning. If your idea of portion control is eating the entire pizza so it doesn't go to waste, your ILC3S are already nervously sweating in the dark, clutching their fat reserves like immune system doomsday preppers. They don't need more fat. They need fiber, polyphenol, and a break from your late-night burger habit. The next time you feel invincible after a greasy meal, just remember, your ILC3S are quietly panicking in the background.